eventually you get absorbed in and you are Sonic.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to No Repeat. It's a podcast where we pick 3 songs every week with no repeats and no do-overs to create a perfect playlist of songs that no one has ever heard before. I'm Taylor Olmstead, and I'm joined in this forest of mystery by Tyler Reed.
Hey everyone, are you ready for an adventure?
And Sean Evans.
I'm in the forest of mystery, Sean. Play the space with me.
Oh, okay. All right. Yep. Hi.
Yeah.
Tyler, what was our challenge this week?
This week we're trying to find the perfect song found on Forgotify, submitted by the global collective of TikTok and etc. And if you want to submit your own challenge, you can DM us, add us, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, the Repeat Listening Room, or you can always send us an email, norepeatpod@gmail.com.
So this site has gone viral recently, but it's actually been around for quite a while, I believe since 2017. But basically the way Forgotify works is you land on the page and there's a dark picture of a forest and there's a big green button that says start listening, and you click it and then it gives you a little box to play a preview of a song on Spotify, and your only other option is share and next. What it's doing in the background is it's sourcing all of these songs from some kind of like API scrape they're doing so that the songs that appear here have no plays on Spotify until you get to them. So every time you go on there, you're going to see something different because there's always somebody in there pressing play on something, and that drags the counter up and moves it off of Forgotify forever. So now that we've established how Forgotify works, the 3 of us spent some time with it this week, and we found 3 songs that we thought were worthy of this playlist. I'm curious, how long do you think you guys spent flipping through this website?
6 songs, and I gave up. And I was like, yep, that's good enough.
As in you played 6 songs, or you just clicked next 6 times?
No, I played the 30 seconds of 6 songs until I found one that I thought was acceptable enough.
Wow. You got very lucky then.
Yeah, he did.
I mean,
yeah, you
put it
did.
this way. The bar was very low. When I use the word acceptable, I really mean it was acceptable.
Tyler, how much...
I wasn't looking for winners.
Tyler, how much time did you spend on this?
So I think I had done some like preliminary sort of like just messing around with it like earlier in the week, and I just kind of was like, you know what? How hard will this be? I'm sure I'll find something cool, you know. And I started at like 5 o'clock, and I probably spent the better part of an hour, to the point where Taylor's like, "Hey, buddy, put in your pick." I was like, you know, it was harder than I expected. Because, as Sean was alluding to, sometimes there's a lot of garbaggio. There's a reason why it's not been listened to.
Yeah, I figure I did a few sessions, so all told, I probably spent 2 hours doing this week. But I was trying to find a winner. If I just went with the first song that was acceptable, I probably would have done it for like 15 to 20 minutes. But I really wanted to see like what was in the depths. And it turns out what's in the depths, at least in my experience, is like 60% classical music. And then I would say 5% like foreign music, 5% accordion music for some reason. The amount of polkas that I have seen on this website is truly unreal. And then I kept getting just like, I don't even know how to describe it other than like Enya adjacent like easy listening for middle-aged women or by middle-aged women. Oh, and then really bad techno. Like truly horrendous techno and house and hardstyle and just like the most cheaply produced EDM you've ever heard in your life. What about you guys? What were the trends? What were you seeing?
I got a lot of jazz. That was unfortunate.
Oh.
That was for you, Tyler.
Yeah,
no,
I
got like one or two
I know.
jazz.
I
I got a lot of what Taylor was talking about. That like soft rock.
Yeah, there's definitely a quite a bit of detritus in the unlistened songs of Spotify, as it turns out. I actually, my like split was like almost like 50-50 between like foreign music and like classical or jazz or whatever. So it's like that. There was like, and then probably if you then split those two up, I would say then it was probably like techno or like Christian music. And then I think another like part of the pie, I realized I started at 50-50, but I'm sort of like making these different sections smaller. And then I would, next I'm thinking about like, a lot of it felt like 2008 alt rock.
See, that's actually what I was looking for.
Right.
And I ended up finding more like stuff that may have been made around that time, but it was clearly trying to sound like it was 1998. Like the amount of Blues Traveler and like Counting Crows ripoffs. I found so many songs where I was just like, Sean's going to be so mad at the amount of harmonica on this song. There was one song that literally had 2 harmonica players playing at the same time.
That's too many.
Oh,
It's
no.
too much.
One is sometimes too much.
Agreed.
I think the best thing that I found though was the song is called number 4449, Pacing and Onboard at Beaumont and Mojave, which is from the album Sounds of Trains Volume 1 from 1987.
I also got Sounds of Trains. I got some weird spoken word poetry, and I was like, this is strange. And then, like, right after that, I got Sounds of Trains. And I was like, I mean, I guess somebody somewhere is listening to this on Spotify, because it wouldn't be on there otherwise. But, like, who are you? I also had a problem where that you only can hear the preview from Spotify, even if you're logged in, which is really annoying.
Yes.
And so I made a big long list of songs that I liked the 30-second preview, and then I went to listen to them. And boy, oh boy, can that 30-second preview be misleading. I mean, some of these songs, I heard this what I thought was going to be like a nice Bob Dylan-esque singer-songwriter song, clocked in at 7.5 minutes. Insta-no.
Which we all know is against the rules.
I heard this song that had kind of like a Beck-esque white boy flow to it, and I was like, okay. And then I looked at the title, and it was called F*** Bush, and I was like, okay, so it's from the early 2000s. And then I listened to it, and it's like the most sophomore level, war is bad, F*** Bush, just nothing burger of a social critique you've ever heard in your life. And I was just like, Sean's gonna destroy me if I pick this. He literally has a master's in political science. I cannot do this.
I feel like my goal or my hope was well, surely Spotify will have lots of local bands that have just uploaded their stuff and just have uploaded and they just never, Ryan, my roommate, his band currently has 26 monthly listeners on Spotify. And I'm like, well, surely not everyone has listened to every song on all these albums. I mean, there's not a lot, but I mean, I was like, well, surely there's bands out there that have just put an album up on Spotify, but also had it on Bandcamp or whatever, and the listens didn't transfer in some way. Surely that'll be the majority of it. Nope.
Yeah, I was expecting to have more just okay punk and hardcore, to be honest. Yeah. Even some more cheaply produced rap, but there really wasn't that much of that either. I will tell you what's annoying is I'm sitting here flipping through it now as we're talking, and I feel like I'm finding better songs than I found when we were actually picking songs for the show.
You found better or worse? I'm sorry.
Better.
Oh,
Like there's one I'm
okay.
listening to right now, and I'm like, I almost wish this was my pick, but I'm not going to do that to you guys. I'm not going to change it during the show. That would be ridiculous.
I'm almost kind of like, we probably could have just done this one live. No, we could not have, but
It would have taken forever.
the editing would be atrocious.
Sean, what was the weirdest thing you found on Forgotify?
There was some I don't know. It was nothing really was like that weird. This song that I picked was weird. It was acceptable, but it was weird. It's a weird, stupid song.
You know what? I agree with that. It is weird.
It is. It's a weird song. It was like adjacent to music that I thought we would probably listen to, but then I would never. I've listened to this song all of 3 times. Probably twice just sitting here getting ready for the show, and once because I put it on there.
Right. So this is gonna be an episode where we have to be kind to ourselves and each other.
Oh, totally.
Yes.
I am not. I'm not ripping anybody's song apart tonight. That because I trying would be a stretch for what I did for this show tonight. Like I said, acceptable was good enough.
Well, sometimes we go below the belt, and where it starts to be about other things. I'm just saying that this episode we can make fun of a song and be like, okay, this is fine. This is fine.
This is gonna be one of those nights where I say those, or it's like, well, I don't really like this song, but it fit the challenge.
Well, I mean, fitting the challenge here is a pretty low bar to clear.
Also, that
Any song.
this whole show is gonna be low bar clearance.
Well, Sean, why don't you just get yours out of the way since you don't seem very happy with it?
Oh, okay, cool. Well, I chose Sugar Rush by Joy Electric.
A sugar rush, thinking of you too much. I get a sugar rush, thinking of you too much. I only want to be with you for all eternity. A holiday that will never go away. I get a sugar rush, thinking of you too much. I get
Which sounds like a band you would listen to.
I know, that's what I mean. It has all the things that I would probably like. It has stupid synths. It has dumb lyrics. It sounds like something a Chuck E. Cheese band would sing.
Yeah, I guess.
But I just, what kind of stuck out about it to me was the fact that if this was done by Blink-182, this probably would have been a hit. Like, if you replaced all the dumb synths and drum machine with actual just driving electric guitars and Travis Barker on drums, it probably would have worked. Because it's just like a stupid pop pump song, just electrified. If that makes sense. Like, that's why I remember picking it, because I was like, yeah, this is fine. It has all of the pop punk elements, but just done in the most awful way.
I wouldn't say awful, but it's definitely not polished in any way. It's I don't know. It's not very mature, we'll say.
No.
It feels
Yes.
childish.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It lacks
So-
subtlety.
I looked it up on Apple Music. Turns out, first of all, this band is super active. This song is from a 1997 album.
Oh god, they're gonna write us.
I don't think they're still together. They started in 94 and were putting out albums through 2009 at least. They're a Christian band,
Wow.
which I did not expect.
That doesn't surprise me. Well, it does. It really does surprise me, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Sugar Rush is a pretty innocent way to talk about a relationship. This album is called Robot Rock. Literally, the next album is called all caps Christian, lowercase songs, no space. With tracks such as The Voice of the Young, Children of the Lord, Make My Life a Prayer. synthesized, I Want You Synthesized. I mean, wow. Sometimes knowing things about a band is actually worse. This is one of those times. I actually kind of liked this song in isolation. I was like, it's dumb, but it reminds me of like Hello Goodbye and that kind of like dance punk.
It's kind of like the Postal Service. If it was really bad.
I mean,
it has
it's
a lot
not
of good elements.
Similar to the Postal Service. It just, the songwriting is really amateurish.
Yeah.
And now that I've like learned even a tiny bit more about them, I'm like, oh no, okay, yeah, this makes sense. Like, could have been better, could have been worse, but it's fine. It's definitely a decent poll. Sugar Rush is their second most popular song on Apple Music.
Oh, sweet. How many listens does it have?
They do not show you that, unfortunately.
Oh.
But surely not very many.
Well, on Spotify they have at least one. Thanks.
That's
Sean.
right.
I thought it had like 1,000 or so on Spotify.
You did it.
It has 9.8 thousand on YouTube.
On YouTube, yeah, it's YouTube has a high. There's somebody on here that really loves, like, this song must have gone pretty viral within like a little group of friends on a college campus or something.
Someone 2 years ago on the YouTube video says, "Brings me back." Brings you back to what?
Brings you back to what?
Brings
to
you
1997, apparently.
What the hell?
What?
Anybody? Should we just leave we should start leaving comments under all the YouTube videos that we watch. Been like, love this song? Check out our podcast.
Honestly, not a bad marketing tactic.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. Hey, you know what else? You know what else is a great marketing thing?
Promoting a sponsor that doesn't actually pay us.
That's exactly right. It's been a minute since we've done that. Since we've reached out to our most fervent supporter, our all-time favorite classic, Beachmont Roll Arena. That's right, everybody. 3988 Commercial Boulevard, Cincinnati, Ohio. Come on down. Put some skates on your feet. Put some beats in your ears, and you just go round and round. Round and round. Let the whole world pass you by. Where all your fears, all your, bad thoughts, and the crippling weight of millennial angst will just go away from you as you go in and play the dice game and win a slushie and some Skittles. Beachmont Roll Arena.
Let's be real. This song would have slapped at the Beachmont Roll Arena circa 2004.
Oh, we're playing this when we have our event there.
Unfortunate.
Tyler, did you talk about this song already?
I mean, we all sort of shared how we felt about it. It's like all right, like like
you have to have one good comment. We're just gonna make a rule. You have to, for each one of us, everybody's song, you have to say one good thing about it.
It reminds me of a lot of other better songs.
Yeah, but I already said that. I said that you have to come up with something better than it's
something
got
of
strong
substance.
bones. Right.
I kind of like the vague, almost like Eurobeat sensibility of
there
this track. It's kind of like
It does kind of have a Eurobeat thing going, huh?
It does, doesn't it?
Like it's going way too fast for a guy that's kind of speaking in a monotone. Like he does not care what's going on.
There is a fun moment where you get a right to left synthetic pan, where it's just like, and it just goes like right to left in your ears, and I was like, that's pretty good. Because in a regular song that could have been like a drum fill, that would have been fun to listen to.
Like you could definitely sample this and make like a pretty good song out of it.
I honestly feel like you could just speed it up and it would be a 100 Gex song.
You could just speed
That
it up
too.
and it
Hold
would
on,
be...
let's double speed it.
Yep, we're
All right,
doing it.
let's check it. Okay, not 2.
What's your optimal?
I'm gonna start on 1.5.
What about 175?
Nope, 1.5 too much. 125.
Yep. Like 25% faster, and this is a 100 Gex song.
Now 150 or 1.5, and you like retool the audio or not the audio, but the vocals.
Yeah.
you're in. You got yourself a winner right there.
Turns out Joy Electric, hyperpop pioneers.
They were doing it before it was cool.
They
There
were.
we go. That's at least 4 nice things about this song.
There you go. Well, why don't I go next? This week I chose Change My Condition by the Busboys. Ooh, boy, it's the mid-'80s, huh? I guess technically the late 80s. So this came up, and just the, like, mixture of funk and hard rock on this, like, vaguely Prince-influenced, I was like, oh, yeah, we're doing this. And then I looked up a little bit more about them, and I didn't realize they have a song on the Ghostbusters soundtrack.
Bro.
They were also featured in an Eddie Murphy movie, 48 Hours. So, like, they were kind of a one-hit wonder moment in the late 80s. But their whole thing, as I've read on their Apple Music bio, I'll just read it for you. The Busboys were a Los Angeles-based rock and roll band made up of 5 African Americans and a Hispanic who played satirically upon their ethnic origins in songs with titles like There Goes the Neighborhood. They were formed in the late 70s. Essentially a novelty act, they nevertheless impressed listeners with their energetic bar band rock. And all of their albums and things have these, like, puns about being in the service industry. Like, their debut is called Minimum Wage Rock and Roll. This is from an album called Money Don't Make No Man. You know, for a novelty act, I think this song actually kind of slaps. It's got a really catchy chorus with some fun gang vocals. And those, like, funk guitars are really nice and, like, groovy. The guitar solo on it, I think, is a little overly 80s, but it's good. I really love the, like, beat drops in the middle of it where you get, like, the Michael Jackson style, like, step downs.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's just a surprisingly fun, dumb 80s song that I never would have picked for the show otherwise.
Yeah, this song feels like what I expected this challenge to be, where it's like a sort of a band that's sort of removed from time, like probably had some relative level of popularity, you know, maybe not like a lot, but like, you know, people knew, and obviously they were in the Ghostbusters soundtrack. Like, that's not nothing. I mean, that's probably a good paycheck, right? So like, they weren't nothing. And I feel like this song definitely, like, it's not, you know, like, I will say that for this podcast in particular, we have an interesting connection to each song that we have to listen to, because we do have to listen, like I listened to it probably like 10 times. And like at this point, most of the time, I want to throw up listening to the song after I hear it for the next couple days. I'm like, I can't do it again. And so like these, that they're like such like diamonds in the rough, makes it like compounds that even more. Like it's a, like, usually I feel like these songs are all good ideas, but they're not like executed as well, like maybe as well as they need to be. But like this one's like cool. Like it's like it has cool ideas, kind of like on that they kind of get going on. Basically everything you said, I thought was cool and interesting. You know, it just maybe doesn't have the staying power of I want to listen to this 10 times in a row, or like intentionally put it on a playlist. Like, maybe, I don't know, who knows.
Okay, let me talk about what I don't like about it that will lead into why I do like it. I think there's too much going on.
Yes, I agree.
It has that Sparks thing where, now that you've given me some more background, the music is like humorous. And realizing that, I think that's why I don't like it. But here's why I do like it. Because I feel like having all these musicians in here, they've each figured out something like one of the 80s music gimmicks, and they've managed to put it in a song together, but they're all great enough musicians to figure out how to make that all work. Like, this song starts with a ripping guitar solo, and then somehow ends up doing, like, these cool Michael Jackson pop songs and funk influences all the way through. Like, it feels like it was picked out for movies because it's music for people who really like music. It's too good. Like, it's too good of a song. It would have never landed out in the real world because it's, like, academic.
Yeah.
But it's the kind of song that you could hear like 10 seconds of at the beginning of a movie.
Right.
It feels like the
It's
main character's getting off of work.
Right.
Or like getting
It's
dressed
like
up to go out for the night
it's
montage.
It's like a whole movie soundtrack in 20-second increments that are all blended together.
Yes.
Which is amazing. Like, that's such a cool thing. I get why it doesn't work, and I'm totally saying it doesn't, but also, that's so wonderful. Look at us. We're going to, like, convince ourselves on Billy Joe Armstrong that we're actually, like, that these songs are just absolute jams.
I might honestly go back and listen to this album. Because I think you're right. I think there's a lot of promise here. It's just... It's a hat on a hat on a hat on a hat. All right, Tyler, that just leaves you. What did you pick this week?
This week, I chose Big Change by Romeo's.
A fishbowl under the sea, and without making a noise, the fishes are swimming around. The big change I know will never come.
So originally I had picked like sort of like a smooth jazz song, and then I kind of listened to what everybody else kind of picked. I was like, you know what? What are we really gonna say about like kind of like a just alright smooth jazz song? Like, it's gonna be fine. But you know, as I was kind of like flipping, I came across this one, and I was like, this has something to it. I think kind of what Taylor was like alluding to in our sort of initial discussion, where it's like for some reason there's a harmonica everywhere. And I was like, I was really into, I think the harmonica in this was kind of like, this made it like a song that was like acceptable. I was like, yeah, this is kind of cute. I feel like this is the perfect song for like throwing in like a 90s like sitcom TV show, Monster of the Week sort of like end card, or like you know, like montage scene or whatever. You know, like it isn't particularly I was like not particularly compelling, but it's like I think it gets the job done as like a sort of like a filler. I don't know. I feel like it's fine. It's just fine. It's the song that kind of like hit the spot when I was flipping through songs. So like, this is the most palatable song that I found.
Yeah, I mean, if you need a song for your TV show or movie set in the 90s that isn't going to cost a lot in royalties, this is it.
Yeah. It sounds like a bunch of different bands.
And in that way, it is so, like, thoroughly unremarkable on its own that you're just kind of like, I mean, I guess there was a song on. Like, there was music in the background. Yeah. Something happened here. I do agree that the harmonica is perhaps the most remarkable thing about it. And the harmonica player shows a lot of restraint here, which is surprising. I think maybe that is the problem with this song as a whole, is like, it just feels too safe. It feels so much like every other song that was on FM radio during this time that it's like, you're not doing anything interesting here. Even lyrically, it's like, a big change probably won't ever come. Like, it's got that kind of like 90s slacker sensibility to it. And it's just like, I mean, yeah, okay. Sure. Whatever.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad whatever. It's just like, it's that 90s whatever man sensibility. I'm cool with it, I guess. Like, when this comes up on shuffle, I'm not going to skip it.
Yeah. It's inoffensive pretty maximally. Maximally inoffensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Unless Sean says.
the harmonica is a thing. I'm glad that we got it out of the way because we could do less with it. Although it does kind of carry the song through some of the longer bits that may not be that interesting, like the last 20 seconds of the song that feel very unnecessary without the harmonica.
For a song that's only 3.5 minutes.
Right. But I also feel like this feels like an acoustic-esque precursor to grunge, maybe. Like, I look at the album art and it's, it does give me some vibes of like proto-grunge. It doesn't, and it has like energy of a song that's not classic rock necessarily. I'm getting some Cure vibes in there. I'm getting some vibes of that it is of its time, if that makes sense. I don't know. There's something that this song could be a little harder. Like, it feels to me like it's harder than it comes off as. If that makes sense.
Yeah. It's almost like they got a studio note that was like, make it more poppy. Right.
Yeah. Or it feels like if you saw it live, that if you turned up the distortion on it instead of having like a phaser on it, it would be a much more punky jam.
It just needs to try a little harder.
Yeah. B-sides. You want to hear about them. I have none. Someone else go.
That's right. You said no good songs.
The song that I liked, except it had too much harmonica, was called I Remember. It was by a band called Gethsemane. Great 90s band name. Danger UXB by Dead Man's Shadow was kind of a fun hardcore song with a weird ska breakdown in the middle that kind of turned me off of it, if I'm being honest. Let's see. Age of Discord by Combat was a metaled track that I wasn't expecting. And then the one that I almost picked that I like literally got on Forgotify as we were recording doesn't seem to be on streaming anywhere, but it's called Crazy Horse, and it's by a band called El Producto.
Scrambling Nobles by John McKay was sort of my jazzy original pick, which, it wasn't bad. Consider seeking it out. And then I got Kom Nu Med by Sven Christensen. And of course, number 4449, pacing on board at Beaumont and Mojave. Sound of Trains Volume 1. And then Twist Man Ease by Rev Hank, which was sort of like... There was a lot of like rockabilly on there too. That's kind of what it sounded like.
I mean, I wouldn't have been against rockabilly.
I would have been into it.
Well, Sean, if people want to send you some rockabilly, where can they do that?
You can find me on Instagram, TellySean.
Tyler, if people want to help you discover more smooth jazz, where can they do that?
Hey everybody, you can find my design illustration work at rudepets.club. And as always, on the socials, Rude Pets Club on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok.
And if you want to send me some of your underground hardcore hits, you can find me on the socials at TC Olmstead. All of these songs will be on the official No Repeat podcast playlist, which is on Apple Music and Spotify. And we'll be back next week with another 90s themed episode of No Repeat.